Could I ask you another question? I mean, you've answered that question. That's very helpful.
Okay.
Has the Prime Minister seen the impact assessments that have been published?
The details of them? Sorry, which ones
Sorry,
that have been published?
Whether she's seen the impact assessments. A yes or no answer is
Which
fine.
ones?
That
No, I'll give
you
proper answers.
haven't
Don't
been
give
able
yes
to
answers.
publish.
Sorry?
The impact assessments that you haven't published.
That we haven't published?
Yes.
Well, she'll know the summary outcomes of them. She won't necessarily have read every single one. They're in excruciating detail.
Nasima Malhotra.
Mr. Speaker, the House will be absolutely staggered to hear ministers say today that it's not the case that the 58 sectoral analyses exist. In his evidence to the Select Committee, the Secretary of State said the Prime Minister had seen the summaries. He said that they comprised excruciating detail, and the Department, in its response to my Freedom of Information request, said the initial exercise has concluded, and as such, all of the studies referred to have been completed. Mr. Speaker, could the Minister explain exactly what it is the Prime Minister saw when the Department does not have them? And could the studies referred to in the initial exercise, perhaps, as shown, I suspect, to the Prime Minister, be released to the Select Committee today?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Lady is conflating various terms. There is certainly a sectoral analysis. What there is not is a quantitative impact analysis forecasting the future. And it might help the House if I just repeat what I said earlier. The analysis thus far has been a wide mix of qualitative and quantitative analysis contained in a range of documents developed at different times since the referendum. It examines the nature of activity in the sectors, how trade is conducted with the EU currently in these sectors, and in many cases considers the alternatives after we leave, as well as looking at existing precedents.
So, just to be clear, has the government undertaken any impact assessments on the implications of leaving the EU for different sectors of the
Not in sectors. I think
economy.
What we do have, or not do have, the Treasury, of course, has got an OBR forecast, which has an implication. Although even that's pretty crude. That's done from the average, I think, of all the external forecasts of impact on the economy and so on. So there's no sort of systematic impact assessment.
So the answer to the question is no.
Yeah.
So the government hasn't undertaken any impact assessments on the implications for leaving the EU for different sectors of the British economy. So there isn't one, for example, on the automotive sector.
On the
automotive sector?
No, not I'm aware of, no.
Is there one on aerospace?
Not I'm aware of,
no. One on financial services?
Well, I think the answer is going to be no to all of them.
No to all of them, right. Now, doesn't it strike you, Secretary of State, as rather strange, given experience around the committee in which you have, the government undertakes impact assessments on all sorts of things all of the time, that on the most fundamental change that we are facing as a country, you've just told us that the government hasn't undertaken any impact assessments at all